Sherm Chester with you on this edition of the Seacoast Sports Forum, and hopefully you're having a safe and happy Labor Day weekend. We're getting ready to get into the football season for all the schoolboy teams here in the state of New Hampshire. We have one team that had a successful start to its season. The UNH Wildcats had their kickoff against North Carolina Central, and I think people thought, well, there's a chance it could be an interesting contest, an interesting way to start the season, and it might not necessarily go in favor of the Wildcats because they're a young team. They're kind of searching for a quarterback to take charge, and a lot of moving parts that they're still figuring out. Well, guess what? They came up winners, 27-10 over North Carolina Central, and their quarterback, sophomore Matt Vezza, he came up and threw for 2 TDs, and he ran for another one. So I guess at this point, he's kind of sort of locked that position down. Congratulations, Matt. I mean, hey. And then a couple of highlights of the game, a blocked field goal attempt by the Wildcats, which kept us going into halftime. They had the lead 10-3. And then I guess the big breaker in the game was a couple of New Hampshire kids. One in particular, Peyton Strickland, scored in the game. He's from Goffstown. He went for 65 yards for a TD. Congratulations, Peyton. He and another tight end, Colby Ramshaw, had a big day, and that's great. That's great. I love to see the New Hampshire kids come through big time. And again, Matt Vezza stepping up and showing that he has the tools in the toolbox, and he's listening, obviously, to his coach, Coach Santos, who's an expert as far as I'm concerned when it comes to quarterbacking. Yeah, UNH returning to action on Saturday the 6th, and they'll have their home opener against the Holy Cross Crusaders, and that is going to be a 6 o'clock kickoff at Wildcat Stadium. It's Youth Day as well, so Mike will be back. Mike Murphy will be back with us in the near future, and we'll talk all things Wildcats. But what a way to start the season for the bigger kids. Now, the schoolboy teams all kick off this coming weekend. It's going to be a busy weekend here in the Seacoast. I've got Jay Pinsonneau, who will be joining me later in the week, and then also we'll hopefully get Brandon Brown. They've been scouting all the Seacoast teams, so we'll give you a thumbnail of what to expect. Last show, Roger Brown and yours truly, we were up at the first practice of the season for the Exeter Blue Hawks, and well, you know, it's anybody's game at this point. Everybody's starting at 0-0, so we'll hopefully have an interesting season from all the Seacoast teams and all the teams here in the state of New Hampshire. You can't count out anybody. There's a lot of talent out there. It's going to be anybody's game, I think. It's going to be a fun season ahead. I'm looking forward to it. And not just football, but all the fall sports are getting underway. Soccer, field hockey, track. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff we're going to be busy talking about in the next few weeks ahead. So I'm looking forward to an interesting fall season. It's hard to believe summer's almost over. That's the one thing about Labor Day. It wasn't going back to school. It was the end of summer as far as I was concerned. I know we've got a couple of days left on the calendar to officially count as summer, but once Labor Day hits it, Memorial Day kicks off summer, Labor Day ends it. And as far as other sports that we want to talk about, big week in minor league baseball. And I was kind of surprised. I saw it. Roger Brown had it on his New Hampshire Hardball site first, and then I followed up with the Seacoast Media Group, Jay and Brandon Brown. Cody Morissette, Exeter's own Cody Morissette, was called up to Triple-A, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, the affiliate of the Miami Marlins. So he's one step away from the show. And he got to play in Worcester against the Woo Sox. I could handle the Paw Sox, though. Woo Sox, I don't know. It takes a little bit getting used to. But the trip over to Worcester for his family, they got to see him have a great series. I think they played 4 games against the Woo Sox. He was in definitely 2, maybe 3, because he pinch run in the first game. They had a rain out the second day, had to have a doubleheader. He played in the opener in the doubleheader and went 3 for 3. And I mean, he's got his first Triple-A hit and went, like I say, 3 for 3 in his first game in Triple-A at bat. So, I mean, wow. We're all pulling for you. Cody, we want to see you get to the show. That's all that matters. And it's going to be an exciting rest of the season for him. So he'll be in the playoffs with everything going, hopefully, his way. And then next year, the show. And he may even get called up because they do call up a lot of the minor leaguers at the very end of the major league season. They're not eligible for the Fall Classic, the World Series, but they do get to play a few games in major league stadiums. We'll see. I don't want to jinx him, but he had a great series against the Blue Sox. So Cody Morissette, and I know his brother Josh, and Josh has been on the show, and he's a real smart kid, and he predicted that Cody would get a base hit and an RBI in his first at bat, and sure enough, it happens. Attaboy, Josh. That's support. That's the way brothers should be, supporting each other. Josh is a good baseball player, but he's really a star basketball player. Big news: Cody Morissette making it to Triple-A. Then coming up this week, NFL gets underway, and a couple of locals that have history here in the Granite State with the Wildcats, the UNH Wildcats. Dylan Lobby, he will be with the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, when they come to play the Patriots in their first game of the season. And then the other, and it wasn't a surprise. I'm happy for him, and I'm proud of the Minnesota Vikings for taking Max Brosmer, picking him up in the draft, and then turning around and putting him on the team. That kid has a lot of potential. I watched him for 5 years at UNH, and Dylan Lobby does as well. And I hope the Las Vegas Raiders figure a way of using him or utilizing him in their lineup, especially on run backs and as a go-to guy, a safety valve guy for their quarterback. And I don't even know who the quarterback for the Raiders is. So anyway, that's a couple of, and Hunter Long, that was the other one I didn't want to forget. He's going to be with the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're wishing him the best of luck. Of course, he's an Exeter Blue Hawk and a BC Eagle and another smart kid. And we're just hoping that he gets a lot of playing time down there in Jacksonville with the Jaguars. I said it before, I'll say it again. They should have drafted him with Trevor Lawrence 4 years ago, and it could have been a tandem all this time, but unfortunately, Trevor Lawrence was their pick as quarterback, but Hunter went with Miami, and that didn't work out. And then he went with the L.A. Rams, and that didn't work out. Now he's finally with Jacksonville, and I think it's going to happen this year. I mean, I keep picking him in my fantasy football teams, but this year I have a good feeling he'll get some playing time, and that's all he needs. I think you need the exposure, just like Cody Morissette. You know, he got called up to Triple-A. And he showed that, hey, he was worthy. He was worthy, and he's worthy of a shot at the bigs. And we're keeping our fingers crossed for those two guys in particular. And good luck also to two former Wildcats, Brosmer and Lobby. Some people know that I'm a PA announcer, public address announcer for the local high school team, the Blue Hawks. I've been doing that for give or take 30 years. Yeah, I got the gray hair to prove it. But the point is, the other day I went up to get my schedule from my boss, and I got to see the new gymnasium. The basketball court has been totally redone at Exeter High School, and I'm really excited. I mean, I've been doing that for 30 years, and I started at the old high school, and it was a typical high school built in the 40s or 50s. I guess it was built in the 40s. And the cramped gymnasium with the old-fashioned wooden bleachers and everybody basically sitting with their knees in somebody's back, including me at the scorer's table. Well, actually, the story goes, the scorer's table at the old Talbot Gymnasium at the old Exeter High School, I had to sit in the row behind the timekeeper. We've got a lot of room at the new gym, and I was amazed. They redid the floors, the lighting, the logo, and most importantly, we got a new scorer's table this year. And the boss, Kathy Claremont, gave me a preview of it. We went into the storage area where it's being kept in under wraps because nobody's going to get to see it or play with it until we get going in probably November sometime or early December. Wow, I'll tell you, it's high tech. It is substantial. So thank you to the powers to be for getting that. I'm getting fired up not only for the football season, but just for the season for 25 and 26 coming up here for, well, Seacoast teams in general, but in particular, obviously, the Exeter Blue Hawks. So, I bleed blue. I keep saying that, and it's true. And the coach is getting excited. Coach Taylor, he'll be doing the broadcasting along with Rich Kane this year, and Nick Brown will be in the booth with him. And there's another young gentleman that'll be joining him who'll be doing statistics. I didn't catch his name. I should. I'm mad at myself. I'll mention it in the next program. So they've got a team that's going to be doing the TV broadcast, and then we found out that they're going to be simulcast on the radio. So some of the games might the home games as it stands now, and maybe even some of the road games. We don't know that yet, but 98.7 Frank FM. It's 98.7 Frank FM in Seacoast, New Hampshire will be the radio home of the broadcast for Exeter Blue Hawk football. And they will also be on Blue Hawk Media Live, which you can go on YouTube and pick that up. So I'm excited. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. All the teams have got their game faces on. We got a chance to sit down and do a broadcast, a remote broadcast, a live broadcast from practice in our last program up at William Ball Stadium. I have these wireless microphones I went out and bought, and they actually worked, and they were decent. It was decent quality sound. We got out of them. So I took those microphones. Sam, Bruno, and I get together and have a brunch together and just kick around sports and what's happening in the world of sports, and also everything in the Seacoast. My treat was to take those with me to our breakfast and strap them on each of us. So we talked about sports in general. But I thought for the 2-minute drill to wrap up this program, I wanted to get Sam's take on what's happening in Major League Baseball and also pro football. Baseball. We're getting down to the wire.
Yep.
Who are you picking?
Okay. In the American League, I don't like the Houston Astros.
I don't either.
The Tigers have fallen off the edge. I thought it was going to be the Tigers.
Yeah.
Okay. I really think that Toronto's got a shot because I think they've got the pitching and I think they've got the bullpen. So I think Toronto can make it there. Now, in the National League, I'm not going to discount the Dodgers because they're always going to be there.
Yeah.
Okay. But I can see that the Phillies have lost some pitching. So they've got a problem right now. Okay. Got to go with the Brewers. My World Series pick would be the Brewers in Toronto right now.
We'll talk about the Celtics and Bruins the next time we get together. But football, any preseason picks there?
Well, I think the Patriots will win more than they'll lose this year.
Go with the over on that.
I think
What is the over/under on that?
I think it's 8.
Oh, I'd go with
I
at least.
think they'll win 9. I think they could win, and they could win 10.
Yeah, they got a soft schedule this
Yeah,
year.
so I think that could happen. I don't think anybody's going to beat Baltimore. I think the Ravens are going to be a key team. And although the Lions have looked really bad in the preseason, I think Detroit's got the defense again. So I think Baltimore and Detroit.
Oh, yeah, yeah, and the Patriots, I think. Again, if they get 9 or 10 wins, I think everybody will be happy.
Exactly.
I think this is going to be a rebuild with Vrabel.
Yeah.
Drake May's got some weapons. He's got some protection.
Yeah.
We'll see if it all falls. I think injuries they're razor thin on the injury line.
Right.
That's a good way to wrap up this notebook edition. Sam joining us here for the last couple of minutes of the program. He will be with us in the future, I promise. If you're enjoying the program, please pass the word. We're on all the major podcast platforms. And also, would you please give a listen to our sister program, the Seacoast Forum. Bill Taylor and yours truly get together and just talk about fun topics like movies and music. He's an expert at that. And all sorts of fun topics that we kick around. That's the Seacoast Forum, our sister program, also available on all the major podcast platforms. And until next time, this is Sherm Chester inviting you to join us for the next edition of the Seacoast Sports Forum podcast.